Hello, and welcome to English 145. I'm Lisa Phillips, your instructor, and the purpose of this video is to give you a brief overview of ReggieNet. ReggieNet is the new course management system that Illinois State is using, and I wanted you to have a resource to go back to if you get confused or you didn't catch everything in our class session, so you understand some of the features that I'm going to be using most in this course. And that should serve as a guide for you and help you. The first thing you do, of course, is you sign into your Illinois State interface. And once you've done that, you of course have the main page, the login page, and the Academics tab is what I want you to click on. After you've clicked on the Academics tab, you're going to see ReggieNet information, the ReggieNet logo on the upper left-hand side. And under Fall 2012, you're going to look for Writing in the Academic Disciplines. That's our course. You will probably have other courses here, but this is the one that I want you to click on. And once you've done that, you will see our course home site. Okay, and right now I'm in student view, so you can, hopefully it'll look like this for you as well. Some of the things that we're going to be using, of course, the syllabus, the calendar, the gradebook, modules, tests and quizzes, file drop, and blogs. Those are going to be the things that we use the most. Again, blogs, file drop, tests and quizzes, modules, gradebook, calendar, and the syllabus. The syllabus gives you an overview of the course. I put it in a separate Word document just so it's easy for you to download and print if you want to do that. And it looks like this. It gives you my contact information. Again, my name is Lisa Phillips. My office is in Stevenson 421L, and my office hours are just before this class or by appointment. The best way to contact me is by email, by far. I do have an office phone, but I don't check it very often, honestly, because I'm not in my office that much. So when you email me, please be sure to put English 145 in the subject line as well as your name, because I get a lot of email and I want to make sure that I've addressed your concerns as quickly as possible. The syllabus has a course description, the format, what your rights and responsibilities are, as well as my teaching philosophy and writing philosophy, required texts and materials, although we are going to talk about that in detail in class. Your online requirements: you need a stable internet connection, an Illinois State email account, and of course access to ReggieNet. I also have on the syllabus course policies and professional conduct, in other words, my attendance policy, the university's plagiarism policy, as well as accommodations and services. And I'm going to talk about that just for a moment. If you have a disability, a documented disability, I cannot ask you about that. You should contact Disability Concerns at Fell Hall, and you can also talk to me about it, but I am not allowed to, by law, ask you if you have a disability. That's up to you to bring that to me. And also, you know, life at college can be very complicated. It can be stressful. Your student services include student counseling services, where there are professional psychologists and counselors that are there to help you if you get really overwhelmed, and it can be very overwhelming. So make sure and take advantage of those services if you need them. That's what they're there for. And of course, I'm here to listen if you have an academic concern or something that I can help you with. That's what I'm here for. English 145, I also have the grading and assessment policies, so you understand what you're supposed to do and what I'm going to ask of you this semester. You'll be assessed on participation and presentation. You have 3 major projects, and you have writers, blogs, and quizzes, and you can see the percentage breakdowns. And I usually do those by points, so you know what each thing is worth at that time. I do hand out detailed assignment sheets so you have more information, which leads me to coursework specifics. I have basic project descriptions in the syllabus, but I'll give you more detailed instructions when each project's due so you aren't overwhelmed in the very beginning. I also do have a revision policy. If you want to revise one project one time within 1 week's time, you may do that. You do need to go to the Julie Advisor Center to have somebody else look at it as well. It's always good to have an extra set of eyes look at something. If you do choose to have something revised, what I do is I average the 2 grades, the first grade and the second grade, the revised grade, and then change that in the grade book if it's appropriate. Okay, so you know, if you do have a disastrous project and you're really unhappy with the grade, you do have an opportunity to revise one project one time. So hopefully that helps. Okay, now that we've gone through that, I want to show you a couple of things that I'm going to use most in ReggieNet. The calendar will be your resource to know when things are due and what's due when. So Module 1, for example, you can see when the quiz is due just by clicking on those things on the calendar. When you do click on it, you can see some details. So it'll show you what's due when, okay? Which leads me to the modules. I'm going to heavily use modules in this course. And basically what that means, whoops, I gotta go to instructor view, sorry about that. Each module has different things that you're supposed to do, okay? So when you go to the Actions tab, it'll tell you what steps that you need to do. So for example, in the first day, I have a class activity. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do. So when you click on modules, that's also the place where you're going to get your readings, your online readings that are apart from the assigned textbooks, okay? So I don't want you to worry about that. I want you to know that most of the content that we have in the class is going to be available in PDFs, so you won't have extensive expenses associated with this course. The other thing to note are tests and quizzes. I'm going to be using those as well. So for example, when you've completed a module reading, it'll direct you to an online quiz, usually before Wednesday's class, and you usually have a full week to read something before there's anything due. Also, I have file drop, and the file drop is the place where you're going to put your information. I only have mine up here because your information is private and I didn't want to show it. But for example, if I have an assignment that I've done, I'll want to drop it into my file folder. So you will want to do the same thing. For example, if I just completed a Word document for an assignment, I'm going to say Add, and I'm going to go to Upload Files. I'll browse my desktop for that file. And for example, I'll just use my son's electricity project so you can see how this works. I'll say Open. I'll have to say Upload Files Now, and then you'll be able to see it in your own Dropbox. I don't want it in there. I'm going to delete it. So hopefully you can kind of get an example. And it does have a fail-safe, so you can't delete something too easily. As to blogs, I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what the blog interface looks like. There are other blog programs, but I wanted to streamline this for you so you only have one website to go to, and that's ReggieNet. And that way it'll be a little bit less confusing. But they are live, they are public, anybody can look at your blog. So do be aware of that. I also have guidelines for what I want in blogs, and you'll be able to read that in detail on your own time. So hopefully that gives you kind of a brief overview of ReggieNet, addresses some of the things that we're going to be using the most, which are the calendar. You'll be able to access your grades in the gradebook, although do not hesitate to ask me questions about your grades. Do be aware though that by law I cannot email you any of your grades, so you will have to ask me in person to get that information unless you look at the gradebook here. I will be using modules, tests and quizzes, File drop is where you will upload your assignments, and you will make blog posts in the blogs forum. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of information about ReggieNet. Feel free to ask me questions, and I look forward to meeting you and to working with you this semester. Bye.